A man has been arrested by the police investigating the murder of a woman who was found dead in Hertfordshire more than 35 years ago. Josephine Backshaw lived at Maldon in Essex. She was found strangled in Bury Green near Bishop Stortford in 1974. 4 months ago, the police launched a new appeal for information. The man is 68, he lives in Maldon and has been released on police bail. Police investigating the death of Stephen Murphy are still questioning a 23-year-old man from Blackpool. In September, Mr Murphy was stabbed to death at his home at Fakenham in Norfolk. The police are trying to find a silver Ford car which was seen in the area on the same night. Students at the University of East Anglia staged a demonstration today in protest at cuts on the campus and an increase in tuition fees. And they were joined by students from across the country.
Join the demonstration against fees and cuts.
They say cut back, we say fight back. The mantra of today's protest in Norwich. Students from UEA and beyond registered their dissent against proposed cuts to higher education and dissatisfaction with the Prime Minister.
Can we have back that money, the public money that you gave to your friends in the banks? They're still getting their £1 million bonuses. The banks are still making money. You nationalised it to save it, and now you're privatising, now it's making profit. We want that money back. It's our education, it's a public service, and it's for the better of humanity to fund things like this properly.
Management at the university is concerned too, not only about cuts, but maintaining academic standards in the light of them.
It's the long term that really worries us. If these cuts are sustained, then the fabric will start to disintegrate. Difficult choices will be forced on us, and in the end, the student experience will suffer.
A small band of students plus banners marched around the campus trying to drum up support for their cause, but not everyone was willing to take part.
I don't think this sort of protest is very helpful to anyone, and it won't really have much of an impact.
Are you going to take part in the protest? We've got lacrosse practice, you know.
Students hope today's protest and those across the country will persuade the government to change its policy before the general election. Carol Bundock, BBC Look East, Norwich.
Plans for the first congestion charge in this region have been put on hold. The Department of Transport will not provide the money to introduce the charge in Cambridge. The County Council had wanted £500 million, which would have paid for a new railway station at Chesterton as well. The council says it's bitterly disappointed. An Art Deco cinema, which was damaged in an arson attack in Suffolk, will reopen tonight. The Regal Theatre in Stowmarket has been closed for nearly 6 months. As part of the celebrations tonight, ticket prices will be what they were when the building was first opened.
The Regal is a rare survivor. Inside, its graceful curves take you back to another era. Opened in 1936, many of its original features survive. But last September, disaster struck. A fire started at the back of the building, spread to the roof.
We just had our best year for over 15 years. The audiences had really come back, over 30,000 people, and we felt we'd done a lot of hard work, and then we were worried we'd have to start again, but we really have felt the support of the community coming in. We've kept the box office open during the whole time the refurbishment has been going ahead.
There's a new stage, new lights, and a new sound system too. One of the few parts of the building not to have been touched is the projector room, which survived unscathed.
This is where you need to plug in.
Tonight's opening act will be the local comedian Richard Wymark, performing alongside his childhood hero Jimmy Cricket. Both had been due to perform shortly before the fire.
It was the show I've been looking forward to doing for so long, and but that's what a wonderful gentleman Jimmy Cricket is. He was on the phone to me, and the first thing he said was, don't worry, if we have to do it when the theatre's up and running again, even if we sell 20, 30 seats, we're gonna do it, Richard, don't worry. And as it was, it turned out to be the fastest selling show they've had here in town for a long, long time.
It's a last-minute rush to get the Regal ready. Tomorrow there'll be a gala opening. At the weekend, tickets will cost 5p each. The price charged on opening day back in 1936. Richard Daniel, BBC Look East, Stowmarket.
The former manager of Peterborough United, Keith Alexander, has died at the age of 53. He died last night after watching his current side, Macclesfield Town, at Notts County. The Peterborough director of football, Barry Fry, brought him to London Road in 2006.
True football man. I go back a long, long way with him. I signed him when I was manager of Barnet. I signed him as a player. He done brilliant for me as a player, and he was one of those that really wanted to go into coaching. You know, he wanted to take his badges early and all that. And, you know, I think he was the first black football manager.
The only flying Vulcan bomber in the world is expected to appear at the Lowestoft Air Show this year after an anonymous donation of £500,000. The Vulcan is 50 years old this year. It could have been grounded until the money was given to the trust which maintains it. The air fete will be held later this year. There was a world premiere at the Colchester Garrison today. The band of the Parachute Regiment performed a new Remembrance Service piece. It was written by the Essex composer and classic FM presenter John Brunning, and he was there to hear it.
Warming up the band of the Parachute Regiment, perhaps a touch nervous. It's not often they record a piece with the composer next door listening in.
And then do you want it then to go through in one breath to there? I would suggest.
Yeah, I think that would be
right?
nice. Having lived in Colchester for most of my life, I've always been aware of the military presence, and so it seems a perfect fit that the Para Band should record the piece. Hear it, to actually stand back from the process of having composed it and to absorb it as a listener almost, as far as that's possible, is a very moving experience, yes.
I think it's sort of reminiscent of when they had the Remembrance service a few years ago when the poppies were dropped over Buckingham Palace. So it's quite a poignant thing, and of course in the public mind at the moment.
So whilst the song is designed to be universal, the Remembrance theme, I want it very much to relate to the here and now.
When Poppies Fall will be available on a CD of Remembrance Service music the band is issuing later this year. Gareth George, BBC Look East.
You're watching Look East from the BBC.